What I'm with. It's not a new relationship with you. This is what you do. خلاص 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 Tell you what, man, 90s, we had the best music. Such a great generation to grow up in. Although I will say that I personally think disco, the disco era, funk, was probably the most successful music era in history. The reason why I say that is if you look at all the different genres of music that came after it, they all have roots in disco and funk and jazz. They all kind of really popularized in the same era, the 40s to 60s.
Hopefully you enjoyed that bit of music opinion. Let me know if you differ in opinion. Definitely a discussion that I always like talking about is music theory, primarily because I don't know anything about it. And so I like learning from others' experiences. So this is the TikTok on the clock there. We just hit 0 and headed out. And as you can see, I am once again fiddling around with the drone view, trying to do what Mr. Bradford Redpath does and kind of offer different perspectives while I'm racing. I also enabled the big head mode, which if you haven't seen GP Llamas or any other videos talking about it, it is the so the Zwift ride has a secret secret code for those who've played Nintendo before, NES. Know that there's a secret code hidden in games, and so Zwift made it for the Zwift ride. They made it available for the Play controllers, and so if you have the Play controllers, you can input the code and enable the fat head or big head mode. So I decided to play around with the drone view, see if I can navigate and manage controlling it while in somewhat of a steady race. And now, as you saw from the intro, I went into this kind of relaxed, kind of, upbeat, ready to kind of move. The group that we're in this time around is effectively all B's, or sorry, all C's, except for our main person, Joe, who is a B, Dr. Joe, who is essentially coaching us through it and literally like quite quite effectively talking us through what we need to do. Now, this is a steering team, and this was my first time steering, which normally I would reverse my camera in order to see what's going on behind me. Now, I can tell you that the fathead mode did not help. So I probably won't be doing that again for this kind of race because it really hurt me on gauging the distance between me and the people in front of me. And so you'll see I fall off the back quite a bit, or I end up gapping quite a bit. And so that was a mistake. And like I said, probably won't be doing that again. But the steering, reversing my camera and, showing the steering did not, steering wasn't effective when you're facing backwards because you don't know what's coming up ahead. And so you don't know where to steer. So again, a second thing that I, looked at and kind of had to reevaluate in the moment because as much as I wanted to, help, as you can see, I'm falling off the back here significantly. Again, partially, because of drone view, but because I'm trying to split my attention between riding to navigating the camera. So quick jump ahead, way far ahead to 7 kilometers left, because this is really where the action happened. So you can see by my shirt, I am like profusely sweating, hot as it could be inside the garage, um, for for February, which however you feel about the climate, it's hot. Um, and so at this point, I am exhausted. My legs are hurting. Every time I go up the front, they hurt even more. But this is where the actions truly started popping off. If you can see down at the bottom of the right hand side, there's a couple riders that are really only a couple seconds behind us. They're hovering between 2 to 4 seconds, and they were really, really pulling. And at this point, a couple of guys were like, "Hey, we can keep this up and not let them catch up." So that's what we did. We pushed harder. Every time we came to the front, we pushed harder, trying to get whatever nutrition I can. Um, my shirt's glistening. Jesus. Uh, I was hot. It was really hot, and so I was doing my best to try and cool as much as I can. I had both fans going. The only drawback to having a green screen is my third fan is sitting behind the screen, kind of holding the screen from toppling over, and so I need to figure out a better way to get the third fan in play because this was too much. And so we are just cruising along, staying as close as possible, as best as possible, as we you know catch up and kind of pass this other rider here. And we know that you know we need to keep the pressure on the team behind us because we don't want to let them catch up. The dynamics when it comes to racecraft in a TTT is everybody sets off about a minute or so apart, and a minute or 30 seconds, whatever it is. And so as you're coming across, or as you're setting off, the team that comes in behind you doesn't, they're going to want to catch up to you. The more time they take away from you, that means the faster they complete the course, and vice versa. The more time you take from the team in front of you, that means, the faster you finish the course. And so as we hit this bridge of despair, because it is such a power draw out of any battery that you might have. It truly does feel like it's never ending. Even though it's only at like 1%, but you're at 1%. My case, I was pushing, close to 300 watts in the draft, like getting almost 100 watts of draft. Um, that's how hard, not only were we pushing this, but also, um, the kind of pressure we wanted to keep on the team behind us because we did not want them to catch up. And so as we hit the bypass here for Titans Grove, we are, the main person, Joe, was just, I mean, hammering it. He, um, such a great leader, strong rider, doing literally sometimes 2 to 4 minutes on the front with, seemingly no issues. At least he wasn't gasping for air like I was. And so, we're pushing here, trying to not leave people behind, but the guys behind, man, fantastic job. They just kept putting pressure on themselves to keep up and to push hard and push forward. So we didn't have to slow the group down. We just kept going. Everybody was super motivated to get to the line before DW9 as they continue to approach behind us. They're about 2 seconds behind now. And so the it was close to coming up to my turn to come up, and we're doing our best to keep edging the steering through the turns, not quite throwing ourselves left to right because that there's a couple, I cut it out from the middle, but there's a couple instances where I lightly tapped my steering and it threw me off to one side, and I kept trying to get it centered, but what would happen is I would steer left, and then a couple guys would start to follow, and then and then if I started steering right, it would throw me to the right, and then as people started following, I'd hit it to the left again, and it just kind of kept swerving, almost like I was swerving drunk driving. And so I wasn't trying to steer too much. But you see, as DW9 finally catches up and passes us, not too happy about that, but they put in the effort. We're like, hey, let's just keep pushing hard and let's see how many of us get to the line first on either team. And even though I had to stop pedaling for a couple seconds because I was toast, man, I was absolutely done. We all came through roughly about the same time, intermixed. And as you can see, I crossed the line in 13th place. Our our team overall did fantastic. We ended up, I believe, 14th place, or now 18th. I guess it's jumping up. So our team overall, I believe, ended up in 13th place in the WTRL list out of 160 something teams for our category, which is absolutely fantastic. As you can see, I'm absolutely gassed. What an absolutely brutal effort. Even though, again, we weren't considered a strong team. Looking at, our power numbers, my pull was 3.8, I think, or I think the goal was 3.7, somewhere around there. Um, I gotta double check that. But um, you know, we ended up deciding like, hey, if we can pull, if we can manage to pull, 3.8 to 4.0, then we'll hold that as absolutely long as possible. And as you can see, we were able to do that and really maintain that level of, effort on our pulls, which worked out great because it was you know, definitely a strong effort, definitely a workout, but also a successful event. So hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you guys on the next one.
Guys, Miguel, from that thing you just watched, if you know where that reference is from, please leave it down in the comments below. One of my favorite channels. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button, watch videos, playlists, whichever pop up. But thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I hope to see you next time.